So you're Stefan,
Foenkinos.
and you're the director of one of the favorite experience. It looks like in Cannes Immersive first edition. Can you tell more about the story of how did you get to this piece?
It all started with Tania de Montaigne essay that she wrote almost 8 years ago. And when she published it, we've been friends for a long time. And immediately I saw something in that story because it was always, I was supposed to know about American history, especially the history of segregation, because I was very interested in the civil rights movement, and I had never heard about Claudette Colvin. And thanks to
Yes,
Tania.
because all of us know, of course,
sorry.
Rosa Parks.
Yes, and of course, Rosa Parks did what she did only because women like Claudette Colvin existed.
Now it's happening. You're starting to live, think, and breathe like a black person in 1950s Alabama.
When I discovered the story, thanks to Tania, of Claudette Colvin, I realized that it needed to be told. And it needed to be told by her. But the only matter that I knew at that time, I come from traditional filmmaking and theater, and I said, you should go on stage. And she said,
no.
But I convinced her somehow. And so we started to do a theater piece, more like a reading. And the approach was like documentary theater. And for that, for the staging, I needed some projection. And that's how Pierre-Alain Giraud, who was the co-director and producer, came on board. And he said, like a few times later, he said, I imagine I'm developing a concept of augmented reality with a helmet, with HoloLens, and I think this story would fit perfectly. And that's how all the craziness started.
Have you ever thought that your screenplay would have been transformed in an immersive experience?
No, it was impossible to imagine because I do not know at this moment that AR exists. According to me, it was the same thing, virtual and augmented, everything was mixed because it's not my word. So.
And now that it's alive, what do you think about that?
What I think is that what is interesting is those guys, this one and Pierre-Alain Giraud, because they created something, they invent a poetry, and that's the main thing that is important in that creation. That's the universe.
You was telling me that you have many projects with educational purpose, and is that right?
Yes, of course, and we already worked with the play, and Tania on her side, and sometimes together. What we like to do is, because for us, art is always linked with education. Not that it is necessary, but as a way of transmission, because I think we both believe in this. So if we can take that story as like a basic story and create workshops, writing workshops, acting workshops, and we go to schools, we go to prisons, we go to social places, in a way that it never takes art away from the life, because that's what we wanted to do also with the story.
Entering in this kind of exhibition or experience, young people can see physically what is going to happen. It's not just a story. So I would like you to say something about this.
Actually, you have to stay yourself. That's what is interesting, because racism is not about a color, it's about a system. It's fascism. The idea of racism is that now you are an object and someone is telling you how you're going to deal with that. So what interested me is that at the end, I think that if you understand that, you understand all the discriminations, and you understand that you do not need to transform yourself to know what is happening.
What we love about augmented reality is that you're sharing this, you're seeing the people who are doing this with you. And in the end, we don't care what color they are, where they're from. They all have a helmet on the head, and that makes them from the same humankind. And we were lucky enough to talk to Claudette. She's alive. She's 84 years old. The only lesson that we got from her was that today, of course, I would fight for black people who have been discriminated. I would fight for anybody who feels discriminated and whose injustice is put upon.
Did you already ask to a teenager or young people to join? What happened to them? The reaction. I'm really curious to know about the reaction.
First, they run all over.
It depends on their age, but what is interesting is that when they come in, this is familiar to them because they are playing with video games and stuff like this. But what is interesting is that with this technology, you can't go fast. You have to be slow. When you're looking at something, you can't just do like that. If you do that, you can't see anything. And so there is a moment, time is holding you, and now you're inside something. So what is interesting is the difference between when they come in and when they go out. Because something concrete is happening on their body.
First, it's playful, and when you leave, it's thoughtful.